We are off the charts yet again here on the ML Sports Platter, all brought to you by CH Insurance. They are in your corner. Make sure that you check out the website and all the social platforms for insurance resolutions for you or your business. How about this? Kevin Brown, my main man, ESPN College Hoops broadcaster, Orioles TV, as the baseball season's coming up. We'll get to that in a little bit as well with Pete Alonso, the new acquisition in Baltimore. Kevin, welcome aboard. Thanks for joining myself and Joe Jr., buddy. How are you?
I'm great. Always good to be with you, Mike.
Good to meet you, Kevin. Good to meet you. Looking forward to love your broadcasting on, ABC, ACC network, and occasionally seeing you on the Orioles networks. So nice to meet you.
Yeah, all of the networks, basically. I just play a network bingo these days.
Network bingo. What a good problem to have.
Yeah, that's right. No doubt. Joe, lead us off here. I know you want to get right to Carolina on Saturday, which Kevin will be on the call, by the way.
Oh, yeah, Kevin, it's awesome. I don't know how many – I'm sure you've obviously graduated from the Cuse, but how many times you had some games up here. We're hoping to turn it around. But really, two quick questions. What's our chance against Carolina? And how would you fix this? I mean, this could be a long question. What would you do to fix the program? Let's talk about the game. One of their studs is hurt, I believe. But the actual game itself, and then how's this program get turned around?
For the game itself, yeah, Caleb Wilson, who's Carolina's best player, is out with a broken bone in his left hand and out indefinitely. So he'll be out. They're hoping he'll come back at some point this year, maybe in the postseason. He's certainly out. Tomorrow, as we record this, or Saturday as we record this, I should say. And the big question is Henry Bessar, who's Carolina's second best player and their starting center, their second leading scorer and leading rebounder. And he and Caleb Wilson are maybe one of the two or three best front courts in the country with Florida and Michigan. He has been out the last two games. He was sick. He was dealing with what the team's calling a lower extremity injury. Was feeling better apparently Tuesday, but still didn't play because of whatever the lower extremity situation is. So we don't know if he's going to play Saturday. I mean, Carolina's coming off of the two games without them where they handily beat Pitt, who's, I think, a significantly worse team at Syracuse, and they handily lost to NC State, who at this point is a significantly better team at Syracuse. So I think Syracuse in the middle of those two, and I think that gives them a decent chance. I know it's been a tough sled, and Monday was a really tough night at Duke, but it's not a Carolina team at full strength right now. Their bigs have been playing okay without Wilson and Bessar. Their guards have not been getting great looks. Their guards have really not shot it well in the last two games. So I think Syracuse, playing a shorthanded Carolina team has a real chance Saturday for a win that would still look good. It would look good for your numbers and your metrics, even though Wilson and Bessar aren't there. The second question, I mean, that's a much bigger fix, obviously. I know there's a lot of talk up there about what's the coaching situation going to be next year? Is Adrian Autry going to be back with the uncertainty? The athletic director, who's going to possibly make the call? Is it John Wildhack? Is it going to be somebody else with a new AD coming in? The really easy answer, which is not actually easy, it's very complex, but it's the easy answer, is have good resources and get good players. Virginia was humming along forever. Tony Bennett retires. They didn't have a ton of NIL money. The game changed. They hired Ryan Odom. They got an entirely new roster. Reportedly a pretty good NIL budget. Nothing confirmed, but people think it's probably somewhere in the $8, $9, $10 million range. That is college sports right now. Virginia turned this thing around, and Virginia looks like a legitimate ACC contender. Miami, like one of the worst ACC teams we've ever seen last year. New coach, tons of resources, turned it around. They look like a legit tournament team. So, how you do it, who that person might be, if that person's on staff, if that person is not on staff, those are questions that are beyond me. But part of this is really a numbers game and an investment game. As crazy as that still sounds, and I know we're a few years into this era, and it still sounds nuts to say money, money, money. But it is the reality. It's hard to do something without that level of infrastructure resources. And Syracuse, I know, has spent more money on the team this year, but you have the ACC. Like, you look at the new coaches that are in here, you look at the investment that Louisville's put in, that Duke, the Carolina, the league has really poured resources into basketball this year. And I think Syracuse has gotten better, but I think by no means, talking to folks around the league, does it sound like they're in the top third or so in terms of resources, maybe somewhere around the middle, if not a little lower.
By the way, Kevin knows Central New York so well that he called the Orange basketball season a tough sled. I mean, Kevin, that's good stuff out of you.
It's going to snowball soon, this interview.
There it is. He's just going to keep hammering it. I got a question in my head just before this interview that I wanted to ask you. I mean, you're a historian to a certain extent too. I mean, you appreciate history of sports and broadcasting and the Newhouse School and everything in between. And I know that when you've been on the mic for baseball, especially that being, our pastime, and knowing that history is unmatched in a lot of sports. Have you thought about, I mean, I know you've done it before, but ABC, man, I mean, America's broadcast company, right? Like Howard Cosell in the years, and Monday Night Football was at its peak. I mean, ABC, it's part of the ESPN family, but I mean, ABC is a network, and it has a huge place in our broadcast lexicon in America. And you're a part of that, being on the mic on ABC here and there, including in Syracuse at your alma mater. I mean, that's pretty great.
Yeah, I don't think ABC means that much anymore if they're letting me infiltrate every now and again. It is meaningful. I pinch myself all the time getting to work at ESPN, let alone ABC. I mean, I grew up watching SportsCenter every day and watching as much ESPN as I get my hands on it. What was really special was getting to do Cubs Padres postseason last year, and two of those games, I think the first two, were on ABC. And there's something that felt different and special about the baseball playoffs, getting to say, we're back after a word from your local ABC station. That stuff is not lost on me. And there are a lot of people who have been doing this a lot longer than I have, that still have the real passion and the juice for this. There are some people, like in every industry, that get a little jaded as it goes along. And I really don't plan to ever get jaded when I think of ABC, ESPN. Like this is really special stuff. So yes, I am fortunate that I get to, sully the network of the great Howard Cosell and Al Michaels and Frank Gifford and the wide world of sports. And hopefully I don't permanently damage the thing for the couple of hours I'm on air.
Kevin Brown with us from ESPN, of course, and the Orioles TV broadcast here on Off the Charts. Mike Lindsley, Joe Jr. with you, brought to you by CH Insurance. And we'll get you out of here soon, Kev. Just wanted to hit on the Orioles season as well. And Kevin will have the call on UNC-Syracuse this Saturday. They had Pete Alonso, and he's one of the best veteran slugging, power players in the game. I think this is a huge ad. I think the contract's perfect. He's in his prime. Mets fans are obviously pissed about this one, but the Orioles people have got to be thrilled. I mean, my sister and her people down there, they listen and watch you all the time on those calls. They're talking all about it. They can't wait for baseball. Pete Alonso adds what for this Orioles group, by the way, that has a lot of young players that are really good, and they're just kind of waiting for them all to kind of pop. And I think Alonso maybe helps with that. And what else? I mean, this is, to me, one of the big offseason moves in Major League Baseball. It really is.
Agreed.
It's a great move in terms of production. It's also a great move, I think, in terms of announcing yourself. And look, the Orioles won the East in 2023, made the playoffs in 24. It's not like they're a nobody, but last year was a real step back, and they had a ton of injuries. And, this is the first time I think they go into a season bulking up a little bit more. And they got Corbin Burns 2 years ago. That was for 1 year. Yep. 23 was always the surprise team. It felt like them flexing their muscle a little bit, announcing their intentions. And I haven't been down to spring at this point, but every report you get and every video you get of Pete Alonso in batting practice or live BP is him just talking trash to guys, hyping up pitchers, singing with first baseman. A couple of days ago was the DJ for the whole spring training practice day, blasting apparently like Goo Goo Dolls and Nickelback over the speakers. So it's a clubhouse. I've said it before. It's a clubhouse full of really good guys, good, mostly young guys, great dudes, but guys who haven't stepped into that leadership role yet, haven't had the time, haven't had the years. So I think Pete Alonso helps kind of accelerate that process and show these guys, here's somebody who's been at another organization for a long time, who has won. 2 years ago, went to the NLCS. It's the all-time franchise home run record holder for the Mets, and plays every game.
Yeah.
Expects to play 162 games and will come close pretty much every year. Like there's a real, and I've gotten to spend a little bit of time with him, just a little bit. We did an event together a few weeks ago. There's a real authenticity. There is a real genuine excitement. Like this is not a guy who's just collecting a big check and is going to cash in. He seems genuinely excited about the team, about wanting to do this for the city. Like there's a real enthusiasm. He talks about Baltimore and the Orioles and the players and the coaches that you don't hear from a guy who just signed. And talking to people who know Pete and getting to spend all the time with him, it seems really authentic. So I think you can, value the contract in home runs and RBIs and times on base, and you can put that against the money. I do think like there's going to be a real tangible clubhouse effect, daily vibe effect that we can't measure, that we always talk about. Can you measure intangibles? No, but I think it's real with him. It's just the kind of guy the Orioles haven't had. They've had good veteran leaders, but those guys have been, Kyle Gibson, Rougned Odor, Adam Frazier, Robinson Chirinos, guys with long careers, but not guys who have had the kind of success Pete Alonso's had. Not many have. So when you get that type of leadership and production in one combination, it's my 8th year with the Orioles. Certainly they haven't had anybody like this. So I am really excited to see how it translates on a daily basis. But the early returns, I can tell you, are pretty special. And people are just gushing about this guy and the impact he's already having.
Well, it sounds like he's cutting the stress, having a little fun, creating some energy, some culture that he had around probably big people in New York. And now forget his contract, but he's bringing some of that leadership and energy to the Orioles. Kevin, give us a sneak peek just real quick on the Eastern Division there. I shouldn't tell you I'm a Yankee fan, okay? But you got the Blue Jays, Red Sox, your Orioles. Give us a sneak peek on the East.
I mean, it's going to look like a Royal Rumble cage match at the end of 162 games. Like people are just going to be walking out with bloodied lips and bruised knees, and somebody might be missing a limb. Nobody talks about the Rays. And the Rays are one of the most well-run organizations in baseball, and always just sneak up on you. So, and they're back in the trot this year, which they know how to use to their advantage. It's a behemoth. I mean, it's always a hard division, but the Orioles have really bulked up. They've added They've added a ton more pieces. Taylor Ward, Ryan Helsley, Andrew Kittredge, Shane Baz, Chris Bassett. The Jays won the World Series and then went out and spent a ton of money. The Red Sox have added a lot. I think they're a little under the radar because they have some young players like Roman Anthony that are going to step up. And I know they lost Alex Bregman. That's a big deal. But they've really added on the pitching side. The Yankees haven't done a ton, which would be a little bit of a concern for a Yankee fan, but they're going to get Garrett Cole back. They bring Cody Bellinger back. They'll make a trade or two. They're the Yankees. And I just don't see a weakness in this division. I think Tampa Bay on paper is by far the worst team, but on paper usually doesn't mean much to the Rays. So you're going to have 3 playoff teams from this division, maybe 4. It could be the only reason they wouldn't get all 3 wild cards is they might just beat the hell out of each other. And then, maybe the Royals sneak in with 86 wins because there are a couple of 85 win teams in the AL East. But it's going to be, I think, as bloody as it's ever been this year.
Wow.
No doubt.
Yeah, Mike, we'll have to go down. Orioles-Yankee game, right? You and I.
Yeah, we will.
I'll drive you down.
That's right. Absolutely. We'll pop, see my sister on the way. We'll come down. We'll see Kevin. We'll go to a game. And, Yankee pitching, as we know, they're going to rely. It's very thin until they get those 3 guys back. I mean, it's Schmidt, Rodon, and Garrett Cole. I mean, you're talking mid-June, late June, maybe after July 4th, and then Clark Schmidt after Labor Day. So as long as, Schlittler isn't the latest to blow his arm out in Major League Baseball, they'll be okay for a couple of months. Kevin Brown, you're the best. Thank you so much. ESPN College Hoops and, of course, Orioles TV broadcaster doing his thing. Can't wait to see you on the call for ABC, North Carolina, and Syracuse. It's all brought to you by CH Insurance. They are in your corner. Thanks, KB. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Kevin. Go Orange.